Welcome to the Marketing Revolution podcast. This is the underground movement of savage marketers from all over the world. We are not Fortune 500 companies. We are real entrepreneurs with real businesses that have one major thing in mind: to set goals and devour them daily. Because we understand that everyone wants to eat, but only savage marketers are willing to do the hunt. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with the Marketing Revolution podcast and the Marketing Savage Facebook group. Had a few thoughts this morning, and I'm going to let you guys in on a little bit of a secret at the end of this episode. But I'm going to talk a little bit deeper about the multi-purposing content. It was one of the very first podcasts that I had after I had announced that I was going to be doing 365 days worth of podcasting, which I was going to create into a video, and then I'm going to take the video and I'm going to multi-purpose it, and I'm going to have it transcribed and turned into a blog post. So that being said, I want to touch base a little bit on that because I've got a lot of questions about it, and I just don't want people to be confused. Primarily, what I'm doing here is primarily a podcast, okay? And I'm going to tell you guys why. Because literally, if I was doing this primarily as a video first, it would be really confusing to a podcast audience. So that's one of the things that you got to be careful with, because you want to be in all respect to the platform. Okay. So, for example, YouTube, ideally as a platform, you can, there's different types of call to actions at the beginning of the video where you might want to step out and tell people to subscribe to your channel. Before you launch into the video, you might want to do a trailer. Obviously, podcast is primarily audio, and you're going to drop in a small podcast intro. So there's a few limitations, because if I was to actually do this as a video first, meaning that, I was on here maybe doing a box opening, a description of things and products and stuff that I had at hand, it would be really weird to a podcast audience. So that being said, what I'm actually doing here as far as the way this platform goes is that I am launching it as a video podcast on YouTube, okay? So that being said, that's not 100% respective to the actual YouTube platform, meaning that it might not 100% connect to a YouTube audience. Now, I'm going to be dropping seeds out there, meaning that people are going to see it. People are going to have a chance to take advantage of some of the call to actions. They're going to be able to learn from it, but I don't know that it's 100% respective to the platform. And same thing with Facebook. I mean, it's not 100% respective to the platform, simply because I'm just kind of like dubbing a podcast and putting it in a couple different spots. Now, that being said, it's not going to hurt to have that content. And I don't know where exactly. I'm still testing some distribution spots on Facebook of where I want this all to go. I mean, this may end up going in the Marketing Savage group. As of right now, I've been dropping it on my personal line. And maybe I'll continue to occasionally drop an episode on my personal line. But what I'm starting to find is that my personal profile is starting to be overflooded with these videos. So, I'm constantly telling myself, like, John, get in there and post some other shit, break it up a little bit, I'm trying to stick to my Savage 7 that I talked about in a previous podcast, meaning that you want to show different views of yourself. You know what I mean? You don't want to be flat like a piece of paper. Well, I keep launching these podcasts over and over again. So I'm thinking about dropping them in different spots on Facebook. Certain episodes would go on my personal timeline, maybe the more personal ones, the more spiritual ones. And then other episodes will just go into the Marketing Savage group, which is great. I think this is great to have a video podcast inside of that group. And some of these, when I do an interview, I actually go live inside of the group. Okay. So really what I wanted to get you guys thinking about today is you got to think about being respective to the platform. And there's some things that I'm doing right now, and there's some shit that I'm putting together that I feel that we can at least launch one major episode per week that will be respective to almost all the platforms. And I'm still working on the formula for that right now. So you guys are going to have to hang tight to see that. But I will tell you the secret that I was going to tell you at the end of this show is that we are in the middle of a build out in one of the rooms that I have over here, the most well-lit room. an actual a TV studio. So I'm going to have I don't know if it's going to be like I've never been in a full scale TV studio, but it's going to have audio panels in there. It's going to have TVs behind me. It's going to have a big broadcaster desk, and it's going to be really cool. So we're actually designing that right now, working on it, cleaning out the room. We're going to have to be painting it and hanging up some, I think I'm going to do metal panels on the back wall, 3 TVs behind me that are going to be lit up with my logo on the background. And then, and so on and so on. You guys will have to hang tight to see how that all turns out. But that being said, if you guys are following my stories, we should be able to document some of that on my Facebook or on my Instagram stories. But anyhow, guys, that's what I wanted to kind of clear up here. So if you do something like this, like I said, guys, I'm doing this as like primarily like a podcast first and then a video podcast. And then from there is where we're going to take the videos and put it on the podcasting website. And we're going to do the transcriptions of them on the podcasting website. Okay. You can, I actually, my book editor, Catherine, some of you guys know her from the Marketing Savage group. So she actually has a service where she can take them transcripts and actually turn them into a functioning blog. Because, here's the thing. You got a transcript, right? And it's going to hit some keywords and things like that. But the truth of the matter is, if a blog reader hits that, they're not going to be impressed with a transcript. You know what I mean? Now, so that's why we're structuring it under the actual videos. But that being said, if you want to really compete on the blog world, there's a whole different set of fucking rules you got to do to compete at that level. So that's what I want you guys to wrap. I didn't want anybody to get the wrong idea, because it does sound sexy to take one piece of content and be able to blast it everywhere. But the one thing that you got to keep in mind is there's a particular structure, or there's a respective set of rules that you want to play by on just about every platform. And you want to make sure that you're hitting them rules if you really want to blow up on that platform. But I also honestly, like, it probably sounds overwhelming to a lot of you guys. You guys don't have a team behind you. I do. But here's the deal, guys. Focus on one platform, blow that up first, work on that. Whatever comes the easiest or the most natural to you, step into that arena and do that first, and then master that. And as you begin creating enough leads to build the revenue, then you start building out a team. At that point, you're going to be able to step into other lanes, other revenue channels. So anyhow, y'all, we appreciate you. And as usual, I'm going to see you on that next one. And don't forget, guys, run over right now to your computer, log into Facebook. And if you haven't joined the Marketing Savage group, do so. You're missing out. We just featured Eric Graham today, which is probably one of the best copywriters, old school marketers, one of the best. And one of the guys that I know, only guys that I know that's been behind an 8-figure funnel launch. And yes, I did not I did not misspeak there. 8-figure funnel launch, guys. So anyhow, y'all, we'll see you on the next one.